What's up, people? It's your girl Mina and the greatest Stefanie back in it again with another episode of Just Saying podcast. Today, our topic that we will discuss is going to be about Polynesian dating standards in the 21st century.
Okay, so as you guys may or may not know, we have our very first special guest on our show, and it is Pina, aka Beans, and Nafe. So these guys will be joining us, and they'll be providing us with their insights and their personal experiences into dating in the 21st century. So we shall get into it.
Why don't we give the mic over to Nafe and Beans just to tell us a little bit about themselves. We know a little bit about Beans, but not too much about Nafe. So
Yes.
here you go, guys.
Hello, my name is Pina, aka Beans.
My name is Nafe, and everyone, their name is the Church Boy.
Oh, church boy. Woo.
We're both couples, obviously, and we're Tongans. Since this is about Polynesian dating, we're Tongans.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're from Auckland, New Zealand.
Wow.
We're from Mangry. No, yeah, that's pretty much it about us.
Thank you, guys. Well, me and Stefanie, for everyone else listening, just wanted to know, but how did you guys meet?
We first met at church.
The best place to be.
To be very honest,
Preach.
Sorry.
If it ain't got God in it, then nigga, you ain't meant for each other.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Nah, yeah, we met at church. Same word, same sake. Yes, sir.
Shocker.
So who approached who first, or who sent the first message, or who walked up to you first?
First message,
Yeah.
her.
First approach, him.
Okay.
First notification, him. First he ever noticed me, him.
So then what were your first impressions on each other, of each other?
When I saw Nafe, I like instantly thought he was taken. I thought it was taken.
Okay.
It's-
What about you, Nafe? What were your first thoughts on Bina?
I don't know. I don't know how to describe her, but damn, that was my first reaction.
Oh, okay.
There we have it. But I just wanted to add, nothing if you didn't know, but Beans, like, she spoke prediction on this one day. I remember the girls telling me that when Beans saw you, when she like recognized you, Beans was like, oh, who's that guy? And then she was like, I'm gonna get that guy. And then what do you know?
Yes. How long have you guys been together so far?
Going on to 14 months now.
Oh, over a year. Mad
Love
goals.
it.
We love to see it.
A question for you, Nafe and Beans, is based on your relationship today, because you were both Tongan, and you're both, I know, from a family that is still rooted in Tongan culture and beliefs, do you think your relationship is still, do you guys still practice cultural beliefs, traditions, ways, the Tongan culture, or is it modernized?
Both modernized and cultural. For the both of us actually. Our parents still go by the old book, meaning they still want us to do what they did. So what is it? Like I mean, it's both ways, but we still do those stuff like go on dates and whatnot. But when we're at home and stuff, it's very cultural standards. Like for example, Like Nafe just when he comes over, dad's at home. Or like we let our parents know beforehand as well. We tell them like, oh, Binga's coming over, da 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 da. Whereas then I'm sure the generation today is like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go to my partner's house and chill for a bit. Even with the distancing as well, nothing to do with touching or anything. Like he's gotta stay apart. Gotta stay like you're just friends. Basically the friend zone when we're over. Basically we're like friends over each other's house. Hey babe. Yeah.
So have you guys just in terms of talking about Tongan tradition and culture, did you guys choose to implement part of that, like your own choice, or were you guys pressured to kind of?
I think it's our own choice.
Yeah.
We were both raised up that way. Like my dad like taught me and Muna the proper way of having a man over at home. Same goes with Nafe. He was like born and raised in Tonga, and I think that's just it's part of his like character, his way. What do you think? Nafe's he's born and raised in Tonga, so coming here he has the same attitude, same characters and stuff, whatnot with him. His mum is very cultural, but she's a nice lady. But yeah.
How about you, Sefa? Just saying like your family. Do you think in your family culture is like being practiced with you guys? You have brothers, obviously, and you have an older brother. Does your family still practice the tradition way of dating, or what do you think?
My parents are very traditional, like you guys, but I think when it comes to like dating, they've kind of given us our own space, kind of. Like I remember when we were growing up, they'll be like, oh, we expect you guys to marry a Tongan girl, we'll have a full out Tongan wedding and all that stuff. But I think as we grow up and as our parents see us grow up, they begin to realize that we have to make our own decisions. And so when it comes to dating, my parents don't really mind who we date as long as, they're good people inside. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not as strict. They don't really force the Tongan tradition on us. But yeah. But I do believe like what being said about like no touching and stuff.
Oh yeah.
When I'm visiting, yeah, I think that's a good thing about our culture. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to classify our dad in the way he taught us to date. Hey, Beans, I wouldn't say it was strict, but then again, it was like
freely. Like he like not freely, but like free. He gave us a choice, but he still had standards and rules for us.
Yeah, like he said boundaries, but at the end of the day, he understood that it's our choices. He really, I never seen him really say like, you can't date this person, you can't date that person. It was just like,
yeah,
interesting. But I think the Tongan culture and the way of dating with us is like something that I'm grateful for. Just like being said, like our dad taught us how to date, and I'm pretty sure it's like all of us do and our parents. And so I had a question for all of us. The things that we practice today, or the way we date other people today, would it be something to teach? You would want to teach your families in the future, or your children, like, or would you be a little bit more softer with them because you don't want them to be too pressured or do something that would cause major consequences?
I think I'd probably teach them the way our parents, like what your dad said, like teach them the boundaries, like but let them date however they please. But as long as you tell them the consequences of not following those boundaries and the dangers of it. So I think that's a perfect way of teaching our kids. Yeah.
What he said.
You two would practice that, the same thing?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be a bit more strict on my children, but that's just me. Because we all
Only
have
because wouldn't you like understand in a way?
yeah, but because you
It's
understand,
different.
I don't
It's
want
so
them to make the
different
same.
nowadays. It's not like back then. I mean, you have things that can kind of back you up with your teachings.
Back you up when you're teaching.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say that I'll
Like
be a
I'm
hypocrite
guessing,
if I told
I'm
otherwise?
guessing back then, like Dad would bring the lady, or he would go to the lady's house because he had no phone or whatnot to like video call them. Those kind of stuffs. So like nowadays, it's like kind of easier in a way. Like our children can just stay in the room and just talk to whoever they're dating on the phone and whatnot. Whereas in back then, they would like legit come over because they had nothing like video calls and whatnot. That's
That's
what I
true.
mean by backup.
Yeah.
I think easier, probably not. It's easier, but it's also more dangerous, I guess, in a way,
Oh yeah.
when you have social media. Um, especially when you're like talking to someone you haven't even met in real life. But yeah, but I have a question for Nafi. It just came to mind. I know in the Tongan tradition, please correct me if I'm wrong. I know Muna knows more about dating. Um, in the Tongan tradition, I'm just saying. But from my understanding, it's usually the boy or the man who has to like take the first step in like asking like the girl out. So like, what are your thoughts on that, Nafi? Like, do you feel any pressure with that, or because I know Beans has said that you're practically born and raised in Tonga. So do you feel pressure like having to like take that role, or you just become used to it?
Uh, yeah, I think for me, like even though I actually like grew up in Tonga, and then I see like grown men like actually like apply that into their like daily life,
Yeah.
like dating and all. But I think for me, it's like every generation is different. But then
Yeah.
like I think the rules still stay the same. But I think that just some of us just like it's not really. Sometimes we can't really like actually like take the extra step to actually like make the first move. But
That's true.
yeah, but I think we should
I think it's
keep
a
it
man's job.
keep it the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds
No.
it's better that way. Like from my point of view.
Mm. That's interesting. Thanks
Mm.
for that.
Yeah, it is interesting because like today, a lot of people, especially women, start to say that they can have the same responsibility to in regards to approaching a male and asking them out. Hey,
I just totally agree with that.
do you think it should be guys?
Yes, powerful
Yeah.
women.
Yeah. I feel like women. I don't want to say it like. I think women nowadays they
Hell no.
become more like independent kind of. So like.
Say less.
So like they kind of like on that I don't need a man type of vibe, and so like.
Say no
Uh,
more.
but I mean, it's like there's nothing wrong with being independent. Like, good for
Mm.
them.
Good on you.
But I'm very kind of how you say. I'm very conservative or traditional, and like I'm pretty sure you guys agree as well that the man should like take the first step. They should like open the door before the woman walks in, or like pull out their chair and all that stuff. All that like
Yes.
stuff that men should do. But I know that this
Agree.
generation kind of like wants to move on from that
Mm.
kind of
They're pretty slack.
So yeah.
Pretty slack.
Mm. But even with keeping those old ways of dating and males taking the first lead of how they date and how things are handled, I think it's like there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Hey, like there's nothing wrong when the guy like does everything first or treats the lady exactly like that. I think that's what our generation today lacks, is that kind of respect um for a women especially. But needless to say though, I think women who do take charge or like ask guys out first, there's nothing embarrassing about that also. I think it's like,
Oh, definitely.
you
Yeah,
know,
definitely.
queen moves to be
Yeah,
able
yeah,
to do that.
definitely.
I can't relate, but I'm just saying, like, I'm giving it all to my ladies who are able to guys out first. I guess my next question for you too is culture and religion. Was there ever a time where it seemed like your culture and religion like clashed? Was there ever like a problem with it? Because I know both of you are members. Hey, nothing in yeah.
Yes.
Or was there ever a time where that just like clashed? Because you did say Nafe's mom is like rooted in the Tongan culture.
Well, both our parents are, but they are also very religious, and we have like standards in our religion where like based on dating,
Mm.
like for example, growing up, like we had this little notebook called the Strength of Youth book, and it was like a book that like kind of like instructions, not instructions, but like I don't know how to explain it. Instructions,
Like words of the wise. Hey.
yeah, on how to date like properly.
Mm.
So it was kind of easier for us like to date because with this we have the same religion, so it's basically the same standards and whatnot from them. Um, and with our cultural side, I don't think that is a problem because we don't really have a problem with that. Our religion and culture is the same, so there was no barriers, no nothing. Yeah.
I think it was different for me though. Me and Beans obviously grew up under the same roof, but there were certain things or certain people that I would date, and my dad would set different. But I was just saying, like, it wasn't too much of a clash, but this one time I was dating someone, and we had to try not to expose anyone. Okay, so when I was dating someone, and in the Tongan way, they had to, there's a certain way of doing certain things. And I remember like conversating with my parents, like, why can't we just do it like this, or why can't we do it normal? Because you know, it's not. It's just a cultural thing for you to like, for us to stress out like this and do all this stuff that kind of like money spending and just not relevant. You know what I mean? Um, and then like looked at it because our religion teaches something else totally different, like that is different from the Tongan culture. But because my parents, there are certain things that happen with us daughters in the Tongan culture that has to be done in the Tongan way rather than, religious freedom and how we teach in the church that you shouldn't practice those kind of things. But at the end of the day, we're still Tongans, and so I know it's different. It's different from everyone else. Beats hasn't experienced it yet, but yeah, I think there will be a time, Beats, where it will kind of clash, just because I don't know, just with those big events, hey, and I think it's just because we are Tongans, and Tongans have this habit of like caring about everyone else's opinion, especially if they're all from the same village type of thing, which can be quite a burden, but
Are you saying we're from the same village?
it is what it is. I'm saying like if these things were to happen, people from our village back at home would be like, oh, they need to do it this way, that way. And
I think that's the difference of us and our parents' generation. Like it matters so much to them. It's like the gold opinion that's gonna like threaten their lives, kind of thingy. Whereas then for us, it's like for me nowadays, like if I was to do something and then they'd find it like threatening onto them, like to me it would be like, I don't care. Like, oh, fukama. Fukama means embarrassed. Oh, fukama, da 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 da. And then I'll sit there like, I don't care. Oh, like that. I feel like that's like the difference with our generation nowadays with the whole Tongan thing. It's more of a, who cares?
And in saying that, Beans and Nafe, how was it when you two started going to each other's houses? Like, were there certain rules that you had to keep? Things that you weren't allowed to do, or like even like the first time going to each other's house, how did you approach your parents? Because I know there's a lot out there, a lot of us Polynesians that grew up with strict parents, and that meant there were strict dating rules as well. Especially with going to each other's houses. How did you do that?
Yeah, I think these are like, cause I'm grateful that like I came from like a Polynesian family, cause when it comes to like events like that, like going on to boy or a guy who you're dating, we like, especially for us, like we still stuck of the olden ways from the past generation, which me like, so when I go over to Pina's house, I make sure that the dad's there. So and then when I go there, like there was like I had to like show some respect and actually like make a conversation and like no touching and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the same with me going over to Nafe's house. Like it's like you have to have someone there, at least like your parents or like your siblings, and there's nothing like go to the room kind of thing and stay in the room like with each other. It's more of you have to stay in sight of whoever's at home, like whether it's your siblings or your parents, like you gotta stay in sight and in the lounge or the kitchen with them.
Yeah.
Sucks to say, but you gotta do it.
Like I've got one thing like to all like my brothers out there. Like if you ever go to a girlfriend's house and they like the parents can't really speak English and they speak in Tongan or like in a Polynesian like language, please speak like don't like speak English. At least speak Tongan or Samoan back. Like if I was you, just don't do it. Like yeah.
Or you can just nod and eel.
Being
Not
speaking from experience, she probably does that to your mom.
Hey, I can speak Tongan. Muna.
Interesting. What are your thoughts on that, Sefa? What do you think about what like Nafe just shared? Like it's a thing that they could be able to conversate freely with your other half's parents, and the language barrier. I think that's a huge one for generation today.
I don't know. You guys already know, but I have not dated in my life at all. Like, never had a girlfriend ever. But what was the question? I forgot. Sorry, I forgot the question already.
Stefa, the question was,
What
are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on what Nafe shared? So how he was saying that like when he goes over to Beans' house, he think like it should be an automatic thing for them to be able to like go and conversate with the parents, help out, go talk to the dad, and just like get to know the family a bit more.
Yeah.
And he also did talk about like language barrier. He said that you should be able to conversate in a Polynesian language rather than speaking English or like trying to avoid speaking the language that they're conversating with you in. Do you think that like that would be a thing of pressure to anybody or?
I guess for like, if we're talking from the perspective of someone who isn't of our culture, I think when it comes to like visiting the parents and like having to start a conversation with them, that's probably something that will happen later on in the stage instead of right on at the beginning. So that could kind of be like pressuring for some people. But the thing that I like about having to go to the girl's house and starting a conversation, helping out whatever with the parents, is that most of that culture that we've been raised up on is something that every one of us are going to eventually do anyways. We're going to have to eventually talk to your girlfriend or boyfriend's parents either way. You're going to have to start making a good relationship with them. And so I think it's a good thing, definitely, because it will happen. It's like you can't avoid it. You're gonna have to speak to the parents at one point.
I've seen my dad try to conversate in English when I dated Samoans.
You're sad.
No, not like that, but it's just like it's not like that. I'm not talking about my dad. I'm talking about my Samoan ex. Like he would try and conversate in Tongan at least. Or like there were some words that he would like say here and then in Tongan, like oh, I just came back from Laos, like that, like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think things like that matter too. Like it's just those small
Yeah.
actions that just respectful to whoever you're dating and their parents, their household.
Mm.
And just on top of what we've already been talking about, guys, I guess my next question, nothing beans, is have you ever dumped anyone? And if you have, how did you approach that? And the way that you handled it, do you think it was from a cultural, religious perspective? How do you think that went for you?
Yeah, for me, yeah, I've been through that situation before. Um, and the way I did it was I actually had to go face to face. It's like it was like for me, it's more respectful, in a way, and that is in our culture, it's especially when I like ever since I was little, that's what my mom told me. Um, so like I had to do it face to face because no one deserve to like get just over a screen or something. But yeah, I think I did it face to face and just more respectful and then like show them like at least some appreciations and stuff. Yeah.
Unless there's a reason for you to do it, like on screen, like this screen.
Should there be a reason?
Yeah, like distance.
Yeah, I was gonna say that maybe long distance.
Yeah.
Or
Like I agree with Nafe. Definitely, it's like he said, it's more respectful. It's more of like a thank and appreciation for like the past person he dated for everything they've done, like that kind of thing. But then again, you can, well, only if, like, don't do it just because. Well, I mean, like, if you guys stay in the same country and same area and stuff, and you do it over the screen, then I don't know what's wrong with you. But for example, if you're distance, like, there you go, the screen is there for you to end stuff. Like, you can't fly over just in one day just to like break up with someone and then fly back. Don't look at me like that because I know that. So yeah, you've dumped people face to face. So.
Not dumb, like that's harsh. That's
Like
a harsh
dumped.
word.
Yeah, well, listen. No, yeah. We'd recommend you to do it face to face though, unless there's a good reason.
I think it also depends on like why you probably would be ending your relationship as well. It'll make sense if you were on good terms. Keep it civil. You will do it face to face. If things ended badly, then I don't know how.
I guess you can just mail them.
Dear John, then maybe, but yeah.
Ah, goodness gracious.
that's true though.
Mm.
I've never experienced dumping before, but I'll take that in mind.
Yeah, no, I think face to face is appropriate, the more appropriate approach of dumping or letting go of someone. But then again, those people that dump people over text messaging, calls, that is still acceptable too. That's just depending on the fixer face. That's depending on the circumstances. Okay, so me and Safa wanted to know what was the most embarrassing thing.
Yes, I haven't heard this part
From
of
the both of you, Nafi, what's the most embarrassing thing Beans done? Beans, what's the most embarrassing thing Nafi has done? Like in front of you or to use?
Lordy.
Keyword most. No.
The most embarrassing thing Nafe has. Okay, well, it's not. Oh well, yeah, it is quite embarrassing at first, but for me, it has to be for me it has to be when Nafe lets go from the backside. For me, it's when Nafe farts. Like there's like this thing where you fart at the right time at the right place. But this boy, he farts when I'm having a meal, farts when I'm not even 2 meters distance away from him, and he's already fart. I mean, it's normal to be gassy, but if you're gonna like right now, if you're gonna fart now, go outside the door. Fart out there and come back. Yeah, for me, it has to be Nafe's farting habits. I think it's just a bit too much now, and he's just too confident and comfortable that he just farts anywhere he likes around me. So nicely.
Is it like that?
Whoa!
What about you, Nafe?
I thought she was like, I legit thought she was like this, like literally. But she's very. Like, I mean, it's fine with me. Like, it's fine with me, but like when we got in public, like she doesn't care. Like she like wore like shorts.
This was after quarantine. Okay, this was like a whole month being in your house. Ain't nobody shaving their legs to walk around
Like
and show up
I'm
to
a
the
guy,
walls.
and like my legs was like
Yeah,
more.
his legs actually quite like hairless, thin ones.
Nah, yeah, that's the product for me. She's hairy, like the legs. Yeah. Very hairy.
Okay.
Were there any red flags in the beginning of your relationship that you saw that might have been a problem in the long run? And if there were any red flags, how were you able to like I guess accept it or like get over or just tackle those red flags?
In the beginning, my red flag was Nafe's family history. So his background, like where he came from, how his like ancestors were, aunties, uncles, the stories behind his last name, those kind of stuff. Like for me, it's kind of important that, like for example, my dad, like he's like FBI when it comes to dating someone. He's got to know the whole backstory, who it is, like just to get like a better picture of who we're dating. And for me, I felt like that was a red flag because he was so tough on that subject, and then he would like judge. Like we'd have like thoughts about Nafe being like having that same, history as what some of his like family and stuff have. And then nowadays it's all right because my dad doesn't see it like that. He sees Nafe for Nafe and how he is today. And basically Nafe isn't like anything we thought. He's so it's basically like the way he sees Nafe, it's like he sees Nafe for who he is today, and none of our family or like our like his history about his family and stuff have any effect on him and how like my dad sees him or like how I see him. I guess that was kind of a red flag and a barrier in the beginning, before dating and stuff, even when dating. But yeah.
I think mine was money wise and like coming from a very poor family. I think for me it was like I'm not shy, like that. I actually like grew up in a family like that that hardly has anything on the table. I'm actually like proud of it, like really proud of it, because yeah, the person I am today is because of
How
especially
I was
that.
raised, how
Yeah.
you were raised and stuff.
But I think for me, it was really a big thing for me, especially with Pina. Um, like I think it took me quite a while to actually like tell her, like that was legit that's always been my red flag ever since I was little. Till now it still is, but not anymore because I actually like lit it out, and then turned out that she legit accept me for who I am,
Mm.
not because I'm from a poor family and has hardly nothing on the table in my pocket, but um yeah, just that was my red flag, and for me to overcome that with someone that I felt deep in love with, that's I consider that as a blessing. So yeah.
It's kind of like his little test he has. So he will like test test us in a way and be like, I'm poor, and then see if we'll have something against it or whatnot. That's pretty much his red flag. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
And
interesting because I know that when like especially nowadays when people see red flags, that's kind of like the make or break in their relationship. Like it's something that will just turn them off straight away, and they'll probably just end the relationship there. So it's really interesting to see how you guys had red flags, but both of you somehow managed to overcome it and continue forward with the relationship. So yeah, mad respect.
yeah, I'm
No.
so not like physical appearance red flags. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but that makes sense. Financial status and family curses because like especially with us islanders, our family name is always known for something. Hey, like
Mhm.
whether it's good or bad, but there's always a bad to
Every
every
family
family
has
name.
one.
And I think that could be something for us islanders to actually like try to break like that way of viewing um who we date and their family history and thinking that they're gonna be the same as what their family name is known for,
Mm.
which can kind of be like a put off. But yeah,
Okay, guys, so we have come to the end of our episode with Bina and Nafe. I would just like to thank you both for coming on the show or the podcast and sharing your experiences with us. I know a lot of people, especially within the Polynesian community, can relate a lot to what you guys have shared with us. But also for those who are new to our culture, you can give them a new insight into how we date, especially within the 21st century. So just to end off this episode, Bina Nafe, do you have any advice that you would like to give to our listeners, those who are dating currently or those who are looking to date someone? What advice would you give?
Mm, I'd probably say to the girls out there, if you're going to date someone, if you're gonna date a dude, there's both ways, but if you're going to date a boy, look at the way they treat their mothers. Because honestly, the way they treat their mothers is the same way they're gonna treat you. So if they're like loving and whatnot to their mums, lucky girl. But yeah, the way that a dude treats their mother is the same way that they would treat their girlfriends, knowing that their mother was like their first female figure in their life, and
Mm,
having someone like to date or like take over, they're obviously gonna treat you the same way they treated their mothers. I think it goes both ways as well. Um, for the girls, for the guys. I mean, I guess it's the same way. Like for me, the way I treat my dad, I reckon that's the same love that I'll have for Nafe. Because my dad was my first love, so obviously the way I treat him is the same way I'd be treating him. Because you learn everything from the way you act and the way you treat your parents. It's the same thing you're going to do for the next lover. That's gonna take over your parents. Cannot. Yeah, but that's yeah. How about you, babe?
Uh, I think for me, I think I have only two. The first one is sacrifices. Even if you're talking to someone or if you're in a relationship, you must have to make sacrifices in order for you to get or to reach a goal or you want it to be to reach with the woman or the guy that like you want to date. And like, because if you didn't make any sacrifice and like you're in a relationship, then you won't get the love that you're expecting to receive from the other end. Yeah, and I think the last one for me is like, no matter what you do in life, if you choose your love and love your choice, then you're gonna get the blessings and the love that you're supposed to receive in this really unfair life. So
Choose
yeah.
your love and love your choice by your
Amen.
great prophet
Amen.
Thomas S. Monson. So what you're basically saying is when you choose your love, make sure it's the right one, and then make sure you love the choice that you made. And stick with that choice you made. Right.
Oh shoot.
Kidding.
Sis, relax.
No, but yeah, choose your love your choice. That's kind of like a quote me and Nafe has been going on for like throughout our dating days. Like we've always been sticking to Thomas Morton's quote. Do you love your choice?
Sometimes, yeah. Not yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Choose your love your choice, guys. Make sure it's the right one, the only one. Make sure you're gonna walk down the aisle with him. Live happily ever after.
That reminds me of another quote actually. That's like the choose your love your choice one. There's this other quote I saw in a movie. It goes like, you like because and you love despite. So you like because you like them because of all their qualities, and you love them despite some of their qualities. So when you like someone in that dating phase, obviously they're gonna put up that perfect picture of themselves or character. But later down the road, it's normal to experience, or to go through much greater challenges or things that you didn't know about them that could be quite a concern. But when you do love that person, I guess it's just like you have to accept them for who they are kind of thing. So that is like the choose your love choice kind of thing.
And when you're dating, please date to get married. If that's one thing I've learned from what I say, it's when you're dating, make sure you're dating to get married. Make sure when you're dating someone, make sure you're dating to achieve your goal. Like, what's the point of you dating if you're not gonna end up marrying that person? That's one thing my dad taught me as well. So I'm just telling you, if you're going to date someone, make sure you marry them. Oh, like yeah, make sure it's the right one first and then marry them. Oh my gosh. I mean, you date to mix and mingle to find who the right one is, but when you got that one, then you make sure you're going to date to get married. Achieve that goal, sister girl. Then yeah. Yeah. No muck arounds.
Yeah. But you can still date to have fun, guys. That's still acceptable. That's still okay. When you're
Have
ready
fun,
to sit down.
not like the other fun.
Not
but like,
have fun like
Yeah, not like
fun.
yeah, not like that.
Like,
Yeah,
not
have
not
fun,
like that.
obviously.
yeah, not like that.
But there's nothing wrong with like just seeing what you want when you date around people before you decide to settle with that one person. And in saying that, that's us for today, and that is a wrap. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks, Beans and Nafe, for joining us on our podcast today. Just saying, if you haven't already followed us on Instagram, it is at Just Saying Podcast. Give us a follow for more insights of the young, brilliant minds we have, and our Polynesian lives that we all live. Thanks to everyone who has supported us thus far. And Beans and Nafe, we wish you well for your journey here on. Hopefully, see you guys again soon. But yeah, just like Beans and Nafe shared in their experiences and all the advice that they had for us today, listen in, guys, and take the advice. You'll guarantee a future spouse. Ooh. But yes, love and light, everybody, and that is us. Everyone say bye.
bye. Yeah.